Welcome to Senior Insights. My name is Cynthia, and today we're just going to enjoy a lazy day because I'm feeling lazy today. And after all, it's Sunday. So Sunday is a day of rest. So I think we should have a leisurely day. What do you think? A lot of us have to have a leisurely day because we can hardly move. But remember when you had a job, the weekends were special? I mean, I don't even know when the weekends are anymore, do you? I'm lucky if I know what day of the week it is. That's why I had to hesitate when I said it was Sunday. I had to make sure it was Sunday. I had to look at something that told me. But I've already had to go out. It's absolutely beautiful here, the weather. The sun is shining, the sky is cloudy. I mean, it's not cloudy. There are clouds in the sky. The sky is very blue, and the lake looks pretty. And I did a tiny little bit of yard work today because, my sisters are coming in 2 days, and I have cardboard. I have cardboard boxes all over my yard, flattened out. Because last year I started this project of putting crushed stone, it's not crushed stone, it's called pea stone. So it's bigger, but it's very small. And I had started rehabbing my backyard. And Ann came over and we made stepping stones, which I've showed you a couple of times. And we usually do one big project when she comes. And so that inspired me to clean up the yard, which I have not been able to grow grass there. And of course, it's Quinny's, let me put it this way, it's her dumping ground. So, she pees and she poops, and the grass won't grow, and it's dirt and sand, and it really looks awful. But I thought that I would put crushed stone all around. I was gung-ho last year. I got 5-gallon buckets, and I went to the gravel store, and I did con people into shoveling the stone into my buckets. But then I had to come home, and each trip I made, I took 5-gallon buckets. So I was able to get some help filling them up, and putting them in the car. But then I got home, and I had to take them out of the car. And then I had to walk them all the way to the backyard, which was not fun because I'm a delicate flower and very out of shape. But those are things that I used to do all the time. And I don't know where that get up and go went, but I used to always have some project. Well, I guess YouTube is my project now, and I love that. I like that. And even though it was kind of woe is me yesterday when I was talking about the subscribers, I love doing it. I do. So anyway, back to the backyard. So I spread 3 loads of 5-gallon jugs by myself in my backyard. And I made a pathway where those stones that Ann and I made were. And I got about half of the yard done, halfway decently. And my plan was, forget me going to pick it up. I'm just going to have a truck come and deliver it. And then I can con Ann into coming over, and then we can maybe transfer it to the backyard because a truck can't get into the backyard. It's too narrow spaced. So it would have to drop it on that pathway down to the water, which that needs some rock too, so that would not be a problem. But this year I got so involved with YouTube, and I tend to just focus on one thing. I have one mission, and that's what I do. And so I have given up on the backyard. However, in preparation, in case I would, there were weeds growing up. And you're going to say, well, why didn't you put weed cloth down, weed preventer? I have ants in my pants. It's because this chair is not comfortable. I don't use weed preventer because I used it once. The weeds poke up through, they make their own holes, or they grow in the mulch that you put around or on top of it on the dirt. So, I think that that's false. It gives you a false sense of security because it doesn't really work. Well, it didn't work in my place. Maybe, a super industrial one would have worked, but it didn't work. So I didn't put any down when I put the crushed stone. I cleaned the yard before, the spaces that I was going to put it in first. And then I spread it, and I spread it pretty thin because I was trying to make it work. So, of course, this spring, all the weeds started growing up. So one of the ways to kill weeds is to put cardboard over it. Now, a lot of people start gardens and raised bed gardens by putting their cardboard in it. I don't know an awful lot about it, but my goal was just to suffocate the weeds that were growing. So I did that because I have a lot of 40-pound boxes that Quinny's dog food comes in. So I collected them and I put them out in the yard. So the whole yard, if you looked out right now, is cardboard boxes. Except I picked up a couple of them this morning. I'm going to wait till the last minute on that. I shouldn't wait till the last minute because that's kind of procrastinating. But I have so many other things to do. And I know, what was I going to say? I've been doing a little spot cleaning here and there, more than I usually do. I'm working my way around the room, and I've made quite a bit of progress, and I've been pretty pleased with myself, and I haven't killed myself. So, but I don't think my sisters would be impressed with cardboard all over my yard with piles of dog poop on top of it. Do you? Would you? Especially since I plan on feeding them lunch out on my deck. So I have to get that cleaned up. So anyway, I was talking about a lazy day. Can you believe it's August 2nd? 3rd? That is amazing. It freaks me out how fast time flies. Time flies like in the blink of an eye. And, next month I have a birthday, then will I be 77 or 70? Am I 76 or I think I'm 76, so I'll be 77. See, I don't even know how old I am. That's pretty bad. I used to always say that I was a year older than I was. I don't know why that is. Most women say that they're 30, right? Or 29. Isn't that the magic number? So I was really pleased the other night at the Scoop when we had our porch discussion. We talked about the porch swing, and so I'm going to try and steer the scope in that direction for a few videos because it generated a lot of comments and a lot of reminiscing, and that's what I'd really like. I'd like you to think about pleasant memories if you can. If you had a terrible childhood and you can't, there's got to be something that you can think about. So, what else can you do on a lazy day except be lazy? Well, you could read a book. What I do is I do a video, then while it's uploading and all this stuff, it's not just doing the video, you got to do all this other stuff. And then I've been messing around with those stupid thumbnails. I think I'm just going to go back to myself. Anyway. So while it's uploading, I go and I read a few chapters, and then I get really hooked in it, and the computer dings and says that the work has been done, but I'll read a few more chapters, and then I'll come and take care of the video. So I have really gotten back into reading. I couldn't tell you the name of the book I'm reading. It's some kind of It's actually a true story by Greg Olson. I think it's called The Black Widow. And I'm not sure if I like it or not. It's not like reading a novel or anything. He's telling the story, a true story, of a female killer who was married to a minister. And she killed like 2 or 3 husbands. I haven't finished the book, but she hypnotized men. She attracted them like magnets. Well, she was very sensual. She wore clothes that accentuated her body, considering that she was a Seventh-day Adventist. Her husband was the pastor of the church. She was different. And she was charismatic, and no one knew what to make of her. So if I think of it, I'll keep telling you the story. Or maybe you know the story of the Black Widow. I'm not sure where it was situated. But they had to move several times because the parishes would get fed up with her. She was having affairs all the time. But the men, her husbands, were so controlled by her and so in love with her. It was weird. I can't imagine having that much power over someone like she did. She really did. So you can read a book. Or you can listen to a book if you can't see. I don't particularly like audiobooks, but I have listened to them when I was a visiting nurse and I was driving around in the car. I listened to Angela's Ashes. Did any of you ever listen to that or read that book? It was fabulous, in my opinion. It was fabulous. It was about a man who grew up in Ireland and his childhood and how he lived and his mother and his siblings. And it's a true story of this guy. I can't think of his name now. See, when I do these off-the-cuff things, I don't even research, but it's Angela's Ashes. And I loved listening to that because he narrated it. So it was in his Irish brogue, and it was good. So you should try and find that. I mean, if you're interested in reading or listening, because I know people can't see or have very poor vision or live in a camper that doesn't have enough light or whatever. But anyway, reading is a good thing. You could do something like a crossword puzzle. I'm not smart enough to do a crossword puzzle. I hate to admit it, but you've probably already figured that out. My husband used to do the Wall Street Journal one every single day, and he would do the whole thing. He was pretty smart. But not me. I couldn't even get one line, and I can't even do those, dumbed down ones in those paperback books that they sell at the checkouts. But you can do Sudoku, or you can try to do a crossword puzzle, or you could do word search. That doesn't require any effort, and it exercises your brain. That's what they say anyway. It releases the serotonin and those happy, whatever they are, in your brain. Happy chemicals. We'll call them chemicals. So that's something. Do any of you listen to podcasts or know of a podcast that would be helpful to listen to? I don't know. I've never listened to a podcast. So I asked Gemini, that's one of those AI things, what a podcast is. Because I didn't know. So I'm going to tell you, because I bet there's some people that don't know. You hear the word all the time. It's an episodic series of spoken word digital audio files that a user can download to a personal device for easy listening. It's essentially a radio show you can listen to anytime, anywhere. Podcasts offer a vast range of topics, from news and true crime to comedy, storytelling, and educational content. They are typically hosted by one or more people and can feature interviews, discussions, or solo narratives. You can find and listen to podcasts on various platforms. So there, if you didn't know what a podcast is, now you know. So I'm going to have to do some further dig deeper. I think Debbie Sue said that she did a podcast once. So when I was reading the description, I felt like this was sort of like a podcast. Didn't I tell you that I feel like I'm hosting a television show sometimes? I wish we could interact with each other. That's the thing. And some people don't like lives. They're actually the easiest thing for us to do if you can get over the anxiety of the potential technical difficulties. You could go for a walk, especially on a day like today. I could go for a walk. It's beautiful. Well, I already told you it was beautiful. The clouds, it's just really nice. And the temperature is mild. It's only, 76, but it's cool. It actually feels like fall. I hate to say it. But a short walk. And then we could practice mindfulness. I have some mindfulness photos for you that I'm going to tack onto the end of this. Remember when I said it'd be nice if Ann would send me a squash blossom or something? Well, she did, but somebody else did, and their picture was better than Ann's. So I'm going to show you that, and you can just pay attention to it and watch, see all the lines and the minutia in the squash plant. And then I think I have a couple of other ones. You can send me, if you have flowers or gardens or anything, send them to me, and if they're appropriate and I think you're safe, then I'll show them. Because we all deserve to get a little bit of attention. I think I have one or two more dogs, and that's it. So I lost one of them in the crowd, and thankfully the owner of the dog said, "Did you forget me?" I can't say I'm sorry, but I am, because I am disorganized. I'm working on it. I'm better. But so yeah, do that. Bombard me with pictures so I can get more disorganized. Other thing I'd like to do is to be able to figure out how to do some background music, like when those end pictures go through. Anyway, you could do some yoga. Well, they have chair yoga now, and you can watch it on YouTube and do chair yoga. We probably all should do it because we need to stretch our muscle. I could hear cracks and creaks when I did that. And it actually feels good. Then the other thing, I know I keep harping on this too, is deep breathing. When I was a home health nurse, I would go in and, someone that has congestive heart failure or pneumonia or is deconditioned, I used to teach them to deep breathe. And I used to do it along with them. I noticed a visible difference with the first deep breath. I don't think that we take the time to breathe sometimes, or we don't pay attention. And that's another mindfulness thing. If you just take deep breaths, it's good for your lungs because you expand your lungs. It's good for your circulation. It's good for your brain. We have to take care of our brains because our brains are shriveling up. Did I ever tell you I had a CAT scan? This was years and years ago because I was complaining about headaches. And so the doctor sent me for a CAT scan. The only thing that came back was said that my brain was shrinking. And it was a long time ago. I would like to have one now and see how much more it shrank. I mean, it was before, maybe I was middle-aged, but it must be like a peanut now. maybe a golf ball. I'll give myself some credit. We're tough on ourselves, aren't we? I'm really tough on myself. So I was going to say you could have a cup of coffee, but we're having that now, and we're sipping it, and we're enjoying it. I did a mindful thing with my toast this morning. I savored every bite of it. I don't do it all the time because I don't think of it, because even though I'm encouraging us to do that, and it's so good. It really, I know you think I'm crazy with a piece of toast, but I figured out what the name of it is. Sophia's Tuscan White Bread. It's probably just a New England thing. She started out as a home baker, of course, and now her bread is very popular. But it's so good toasted that you have to try it. Sophia's Tuscan White. So if you can find it, you probably can find it in New England. I know Market Basket has it. What else can we do on a lazy day that doesn't require much effort? We could call a friend who's trying to be lazy too. I'm not that keen on talking on the phone. I only talk to 2 people on the phone. But I talked to Dustin last week several times because he was helping me with those lives. I might just do lives so that I can connect with him, because that's almost the only way when it involves a computer. One of the other things that I like to do is, most of the time I watch YouTube. It's YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. Now, I love YouTube. But enough is enough. That's an addiction too. And so once in a while, especially on the weekends, like a Saturday night or a Sunday night, I will find a movie that I would enjoy, and I watch it. And I have my dish of ice cream. And I like Westerns. Do you remember like Wagon Train? I always wanted to be one of those pioneer women. I must have been nuts. I can't even pioneer in my own house. Can you imagine the hardships that they went through going across this country? That's a whole other video. We'll have to talk about that. Because, well, they didn't know any better because that was their lives. But in a lot of these movies, you see them moving pianos and stuff. I don't know if that's really real. How do they get those pianos into those Western gold digging towns? I don't know. I suppose we could work on a hobby. I bet most of you kind of doing your hobbies less and less. I know there's a lot of you that make cards and some quilters, and Deanna does collecting the rocks and stuff. Debbie Sue writes poems. She's going to be making some barrettes. She puts decorative items in her hair, and they look pretty. They wouldn't look pretty on me. You know who else does that is Grandma Lois. Are you familiar with Grandma Lois? She's 90-something. She's either 93 or 96. And she has a YouTube channel. She is fabulous. She just starts talking. There's no script or anything. She reminiscing. You know what I mean. She reminisces. She tells stories about her past. She tells stories about her husband, James, who lives in the house across the street. She did a video yesterday. James came for dinner today. But it sounds funny, but she's been married a few times, and she's wonderful. She has this beautiful backdrop on her videos. So check her out. Her name is Grandma Lois. And what made me think of it is Debbie Sue's making the things for her hair. Grandma Lois always has a flower in her hair as kind of a trademark thing. I should come up with a trademark. So, speaking of hobbies, I'm getting beaten up by you folks about showing you my quilts that I've made and showing you other things that I've done, showing you Quinny. So I think that this week I'm going to try and focus on some of those things, so we'll have a little different taste in our mouths. I'm not sure what the schedule is going to be like this week because my sisters are coming, and I generally film 2 videos a day, and I do them usually a day ahead, and that might be a problem for me. So I may have to not record for a couple of days because once I know they're coming, then that overtakes everything. It'll overtake my whole body. Oh, but I want to see if they'll let me interview them. How much you want to bet? We should get a raffle going. Will they, or won't they? They won't. I would love to do a live with them. They're actually very nice, and they're interesting in themselves, but not as interesting as me. Oh, that's one of those arrogant statements that's probably annoying somebody. I'm only kidding. But sometimes there's truth in kidding and joking. So it's a fine line that I have to walk. I don't want to annoy people, but I just have to be myself. And if you're annoyed, suck it up for a while, because maybe tomorrow you won't be annoyed. So anyway, I'm going to close for now. I've taken up enough of your time with idle chit-chat, but I really enjoyed your company. I thought this was really nice and relaxed, and now you need to go and relax and do some of those things that I suggested, because it will help you chill out. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.